Hello everybody, so I'm going to show you today what is in the Smooth On Starter Kit. I like to recommend this kit to a lot of beginners. I even still use it for certain things, and I'll get into that a little bit. But in my last video, if you remember about making the one-part bas-relief mold, I had gotten bad silicone and ended up using a different one, so this is the one I really want to show you guys because it's really easy to use, a great thing to start with. You can get probably like a medallion or two out of it and a good like 20-30 castings depending on your size. So let's just get into this and see what we got here. Okay, so I did go through this in the last video. I will link that in the description because it can kind of be a continuation of this on how to make the one-part mold. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to show you this stuff and how to use this stuff. So it comes with the resin, it comes with the silicone. Like I said, I'm just going to do this briefly because the other video has more detail on that. I'll link it so you guys can see. The sealer and the mold release. So this is why I like to get this a lot of the time because, you know, it's good to have some of that on hand, and I needed a soft silicone for a waste mold that I'm doing. And the Mold Max 30 that I use is a lot firmer and harder to cut through. It also comes with some booklets, and it usually comes with a DVD as well, but I guess they must not include that anymore. Must be an out-of-date thing, and pretty much all the information is here, and it's all on their website. They have a whole bunch of videos, so check that out. Alright, so the first thing you want to do when you get these boxes, because I've had this happen a couple of times with this silicone, is to open up the one side. I forget which side it is. It's the side that's pink, and double check that it's, what's this? This is the resin. Double check that it is not firm, because then that means it's old silicone and its shelf life is up. This was back ordered and shipped after the first part of my order, so I'm assuming this is super fresh because I got it directly from Smooth On. So I would assume this just came in. So I would hope. Yeah, this is not. It's this side, the whatever part this is. So let's just check that out. So just check, yep, it's flowing. So just check that that's flowing, and that it's good, so you don't, you know, run out your return time for this stuff. So I've done that too. Anyway, so let's get to actually using this stuff, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so here we go. First things first, you want to stir each side before you use it. So let's open up these guys. Don't forget gloves, because this does get awfully messy. As you can see, it's pourable. See, that's how it should be, not solid. You need a mixing stick. I would also suggest having a paper towel here to just have a place to chuck your tools, because it gets really messy really fast. Also, I would recommend ripping off a few pieces just to be ready when you need to grab stuff. So, alright. So first things first, I don't know, this is like a stick from a poster or something. I tend to use this a lot for mixing my silicone for some odd reason. I don't know. One of those things. So, I just mix this up real good. Just to kind of, in case it was settled or something. I mean, this literally just arrived today, so it's probably already been pretty good from the vibrations and shipping and stuff, but never be too careful. This does look a little fresh. It is very fresh, so I guess I lucked out that it was back ordered and delayed a day. We'll see. We shall see. Wipe off the tool. Okay. Put that aside for a minute. Now do not use the same end to mix the other side, because you don't want that in that, because it starts to, you know, do its thing, and you don't want that in the bottle, because then it won't last as long. So be sure to keep track of which side is which. It would also help if I didn't get baking soda all over everything. Okay, we'll give this side a stir. Okay, And now we're gonna measure equal parts of this to this. You don't have to do weight for this. This is why it's so simple, and like why I always recommend this for beginners, because you do it by eye. So equal this, equal that, and you're good. You can do it by weight if you wanted to and wanted to get really technical, and it's 100 to 130. 100A, 130B, but it's 1-to-1 by volume, so just do it that way. It's so much easier. And yeah, here we go. Okay, so what you're going to want is 2 equal containers of the same size. This was just an old thing of mashed potatoes. You kind of want something with a flat bottom. It's easier to stir, better to stir, gets a better stir. So I already measured out my one side, which I probably measured a little more than I needed to, only because this actually has a fill line in it, and I just figured, let me just fill up to that line so I know it's even. But otherwise, you would literally just fill one to what you think you need. I mean, Smooth On does have some calculators. That's why I knew how much to put in here. Don't worry about weight. It was more about how much am I going to need to mix, so not wasting so much silicone if I don't need it all. So that's just a calculation. So if you want to just eyeball it and mix a small amount, 2 equal amounts, you're fine. So we're just gonna basically pour 2 equal parts. They do get a little tricky because of how thick they can be. This is actually like super fresh stuff, so it's nice and viscous, I guess is the word. So I lucked out here. Normally it's a little thicker than this to pour, which is fine, but the thinner it is, the better it is. So easier to get that level. So we have about 2 equal parts here. I also like to use these for mixing. Now I like to do a really thorough job, so I'll mix this, then I'll mix them together in a separate cup. So here is, do I need 2 for this? Nah, because we're just going to mix. So again, we want to just kind of mix this up. Make sure we're good and, you know, mixed by itself. And then we'll mix this. Now, make sure your cup is clean. If you have a dehumidifier, I would be running it. I'm running mine. You might be able to hear it in the background. Because moisture is the worst enemy of this. You don't want moisture, so in the air and stuff, or moisture touching it or anything. So make sure your stuff's dry, make sure your studio is dry, etc., etc. Okay, let me get a respirator because we want to use that anytime we mix things. Okay, here's the respirator. Just using this. So now you want to mix this so it's a uniform color. It's going to turn like a light purplish blue. You don't want to see any streaks or anything. Scrape the sides, scrape the bottom. Okay, so that's pretty uniform right now. But like I was saying before, if I want to be double certain I got a good mix, because you can still see, you know, up here it's not really mixed on the cup. So if we pour this into another cup and mix even more, now we have a better mix so we know nothing is stuck. So I'm going to go get another cup. And to be even extra thorough, I'm going to get a fresh stick so we don't have any sort of swirls on here that we have to worry about. We'll just give this a little bit more of a thorough mixing. Alright, that should be good enough. We've got a nice light purple going on here. Bluish purple, if you will. So what I like to do now is you kind of want to just tap this a bit. See the bubbles coming up? You don't have to worry too much about this one because this is actually made for not having to, you know, really degas it because it's very viscous and soft and stuff like that. But I still like to tap it around. I actually used to put this on top of my compressor and turn the compressor on, and it vibrates it like on the top. But because I don't want to keep like doing that and for fear of breaking my compressor, I actually just bought a massager that's supposed to like be able to make your own vibrating table with. I haven't put the table together yet, but it literally just came in the mail today, and look how like I can't even fit it in the frame how hugely obnoxious this is. I'll do another video when I make the actual table, but this basically gets clamped down onto a piece of wood and foam and creates your vibrating table. But I'm just gonna actually maybe just press this up against the side and see if it will vibrate a lot of the bubbles out. We'll see. I don't know why I didn't get one of these sooner. I mean, this was like $40 about, and I found a coupon, so probably looking like mid-30s. I'll put a link in the description if you want one. I mean, it's a little obnoxious, but if it does the trick, this is gonna be pretty awesome. Let's see. Nice! You see that? Getting it, like, really vibrating the cup really well and getting those bubbles to come up. That's awesome. I might not even put this on a table. This is working so well. This is awesome. So we got a lot of bubbles out of that, which is good. Don't have to do too crazy right now. So let's bring us over. Okay, so to start, I start close. You start in the lowest point, and I like to start down here so I know I have it, and then I like to stand up so we have a very thin stream to prevent bubbles. So we will just fill this mold up to the top and make sure we have enough space around the mold, all that stuff. But I go into that in the other video, like I said. So I don't know how easily you can see the stream. Oh, you can see the stream in the video. Whoops. But yeah, so just do this. It takes some patience, but this should take a while, and I'll be back once this is filled up. Okay, so it's a good thing we did mix a little of that extra, because apparently I didn't measure this right when I was doing the calculations on how much I needed, because I didn't really make it over the mold. So what I like to do sometimes, actually, in cases like that where it's so close, I actually save like the bits I pull out of the Legos and like cut up some old molds, and you can actually put it in there to kind of bring up the level a little bit. You just have to be careful if you're doing like something that, you know, is like for real. Like this is a waste mold, so if it comes out kind of cruddy because something's touching somewhere, it's fine, because it still has to be worked on. Like this is like the sculpture in there is not finished. So this waste mold is going to give me a hard version to work on instead of the oil-based clay. That's all I need this for. So luckily that's the case. And I found a cool thing about doing the bowl boxes in the clay and not the Legos for things like this, is that I was actually able to reduce the size of the mold to bring it up over his back. So it was like a little, it's about that much missing over his back, and able to get it covering him. So now that we have that, we're gonna again try and get all the bubbles out as much as we can. So now I'm just going to try it on here. Let's see. Cool. So now we wait, and we let this sit overnight and see what happens, and hopefully it's mixed well and it cures up. This is the really tough part where it's like, I hope this works, so we shall see. Alright, so it is the next morning, and now it is time to check to see if the silicone has cured. Look at that. That's awesome. Yay. So there you have it. That's how you use it. This is just a block mold. You probably won't be doing one of these, really. Like I said, this is a waste mold. It doesn't matter what it looks like when it comes out. I just need something to work off of. This one I'm going to have to cut open, which is why I use the softer silicone. The pink one is actually a lot of a harder silicone. It's harder to cut through. So this one I'm going to have to cut out the clay sculpture, and then I'll just pour the resin in. So, but again, I'll link that other video. It goes into a lot more detail and how to like cast the medallions and stuff like that. But I just wanted to show you what comes with that kit and how easy it is to use, and you know, how to use it. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time. Bye!